Appreciate you guys on Twitch. Welcome. Discussions with Dee Dee Parker. We are back live every day. Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is the time. Except Wednesdays, we do 1:30 a little bit early because I have meetings and stuff. Hopefully you are keeping warm on this Veterans Day, depending on what part of the country you're in. I'm in Georgia, so it was a little bit brisk outside for us Georgians. Yes, I'm a native now. So, hey, Cassandra. I'm a native now. So, yeah, it was a little bit brisk. But it seems like it's warming up. And happy Veterans Day to all of my vets. If you're a vet, happy Veterans Day to you. All right. So, let's get into it. Because, yeah, I'm running a little bit late. I got my tea. But this woman is suing. Let me read it. So nearly a decade, and you're just gonna quit me? Woman sues her ex after 10 years saying he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility treatments. So is she right or wrong for suing? And then I'll play this clip because there is a clip associated with it. But I'll play it. It came from the news, actually. I thought it would be interesting, so here we are talking about it.
A decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end. So what do you think? Does she have a point? Let us know. And download Fox Local for live streaming, news, and more.
So,
a 34-year-old woman is demanding her ex-boyfriend pay compensation, claiming he...
That is the clip there. So that is the question today. Is she entitled to compensation for this man wasting... I cannot wait for the rest of the crew to get on here. Her childbearing years. Discussions with Dee Dee Parker. Welcome. Like I said, we're back. I was trying to explain yesterday what had happened, right, with me in my little hiatus. We will talk about it, but we'll talk about it towards the end. I was having some phone difficulties. Hey, Mama, you're the second, but you're really the first now. So, we're talking about a woman. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but we're talking about a woman who is suing her ex. Her ex calls it quits after 10 years together, saying she's saying he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility treatments. So does she have a right to sue this ex? 10 years together, that is a long time. But she stayed, though. Hey, mortality. I can't even talk. Go. What up? So does she have a right to sue? I feel like we did talk about this one before, but here we are. Here we are. So again, does she have a right to sue? Is this woman entitled to compensation for her pain and suffering after she was with this man for 10 years? And then I'm going to play the clip.
Here we go. Nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end. So what do you think? Does she have a point? Let us know. And download Fox Local for live streaming, news,
so does she
and
have
more.
A point? We're chatting right now. Immortality Goat Tea. And today's topic is does this lady have a right to be suing her ex after she feels like he wasted 10 years of her childbearing years? Does she have a right to be suing him? The world is crazy. That's all I could say. The world is crazy. Mama said, yeah, she should be compensated for a waste of time. Mama said, yeah, she is entitled to compensation for wasted time. Okay, we got a debate. Let's go. Let's debate. Immortality Goat T said, heck nah. Why do you feel like heck nah? Alright. Immortality. And then Mama, why do you feel like she's entitled? You said you already explained it for wasted time, but I want to hear Immortality. Why you say heck nah? She shouldn't get any money. 10 years is a long time. And then depending on how old she is now, you know, she might be in her 40s. That's why she like, you wasted 10 years. But this is what I was talking about yesterday. Well, maybe she didn't know he was gonna not want to, you know, have kids and get married and stuff like that. I don't know. Immortal said, relationships are a gamble. Facts. Relationships are a gamble. But 10 years, she can't get back those childbearing years. See, that's why I said, money, because what is money? You can get money back. But time, when you invest time in somebody, time and energy, you can't get none of that back. You can't get time back. So time to me is so valuable. Mama said 10 years of her best years down the drain. So Mama said those was 10 years of her best years, and probably was during her childbearing years. Because again, depending on when they linked up, these two, then they, you know, they never said what age she was. These are definitely her childbearing years. Immortal said, hey Joey Cakes, you know me. Immortal said, do you see your job if you get laid off? It depends. You might, you might, depending on what they laid you off for. You might have a case. Most people don't pursue those cases, but yeah. Joey Cakes, welcome to the chat. Discussions with Didi Paca. All right, so we're talking about a woman who is now suing her ex after 10 years together, saying he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility treatment. So, and I'm saying, does she have a right to sue? Mama said yes. Immortal said no. Hell nah. She don't got a right to sue. I say, you can't get time back. That's what I say. You can't get time back. You can get money back, but time, hell no. And 10 years is a long time to be with somebody. But some will say she should have probably aborted that ship a long time ago. She probably should have, you know, what Beyonce said, to the left a long time ago with him. Because after year 5 and this man didn't marry you, girl, the signs was probably there. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you knew that a family is something, and I'm not trying to put the blame on her, but if she knew that a family is something that she wanted to start, then I feel like after the 5th year, you know, it should have been conversations had. Communication. It should have been definitely conversations had. So, to thug it out with somebody for 10 years and then, okay, now you want to start a family. Mama said, why did he wait 10 years to break up with her, coward? Good. I want to know that answer too, Mama. That's a good question. Because what after 10 years changed? What made you... What up, Super Pad? Welcome back to the Discussions with Didi Parker. Yeah, what made after 10 years you switch up? We're talking about a woman today, Super Pad, and I'll play the clip again. Hey, Miss Lattimore, welcome to the party. Welcome to the chat. What up to YouTube? What up to Twitch? And of course, IG, my fam. All right, so we're talking about a woman who is now suing her ex after they were together for 10 years, saying he stole her childbearing years. And she wants him to pay for her fertility treatment. Does she have a right to sue? Is she entitled to compensation? I feel like one of those damn, what's one of them commercials, those infomercials? If you are a loved one, you may be entitled to compensation. I'm just saying. Is she entitled to compensation? Hey, Ralph. And then I'm going to play this clip from the news report. I feel like this is ATL news. Happy Veterans Day to all my vets. If there's any vets on here, happy Veterans Day to you. And thank you for your service. Here we go with the clip. I was trying to play it. Okay, hold on. That's on me. That's on me.
Friend pay
Here we go.
compensation, claiming he stole her childbearing years. After nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end. So what do you think? Does she have a point? Let us know. And download Fox Local for live streaming news and more.
You heard what she said? Stole her childbearing years. You heard. SuperPad28 said, how did he steal it? Because, why? I'm with mama. Why he wait 10 years to break it off? You knew she wasn't the one probably year 1, 2, 3. And you waited, what up, Craig 38? You waited 10 years. Immortal said he stole nothing. It didn't work. Move on. That's how you feel today, Immortal? It didn't work out, so just move on. No, sometimes I think if more women did this, some of y'all might, stop with the shenanigans. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. That's just a thought. But seriously though, should this ex have to pay her for her fertility treatments? Should this ex have to pay for these fertility treatments? And wasted time. SuperPat28 said why she didn't get pregnant. Maybe maybe they communicated and he wanted to hold off until he felt like he reached a certain level in his career. Maybe she felt like, okay, now he's at this. I'm hypothetically speaking, by the way, because I don't know the backstory to this. But maybe she felt like, okay, I reached it. We reached that pinnacle. Now let's have kids. And maybe he's like, wait a minute, now I don't want to have no babies with you, and then broke it off. I don't know. I don't know why this man waited 10 years to all of a sudden break it off. But I got an inkling of a feeling. But again, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I bet that he traded her in for a new model. Ain't that usually how that go? You know, something new and shiny, okay? Something much younger than she is. That's why he waited 10 years. SuperBad28 said plenty oops babies out here. I mean, you ain't lying. If she really wanted to, she could have tricked him. I see where you're going with it. Hey, baby Barack. Immortal said men don't get compensated when they pay all her bills and then she leave. Well, maybe someone should sue. Y'all the ones that don't. Maybe y'all should sue for compensation. Mama said, why does she need fertility treatments anyway? She might be a woman of a particular age. Maybe that's why. Baby Rock, we're talking about a woman is suing her now ex after they were together for 10 years. And he broke things off, saying she said he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility treatments. So the question today is this woman entitled to compensation? Does she have a right to sue this ex for a wasted 10 years? Wasted time, wasted energy. The one thing we always talk about, well, I always say, don't waste none of my time. Because time is very valuable to me. You can't get time back. So, once again, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all of my vets out there. If you are a vet, salute to you and thank you for your service. Yeah. Immortal said, or just trying to get money. I mean, 10 years though. Immortal, she should be compensated. She should get $100,000 for every. Let me stop before I make y'all mad. She should get $100,000 for every year wasted. That's how I feel. Joey Cake said, I guess that you really can sue a ham sandwich. Baby, you can sue folks for anything nowadays out here. Yeah, you can sue for the littlest and the dumbest stuff. For some folks, because I don't know how some of these folks get these lawsuits. Even though, and I'm going to play the clip back again because we do got some new folks on here. The news, somebody said that I don't believe it would hold up in court. Mama said maybe she couldn't get pregnant and he broke up with her. maybe she couldn't get pregnant, and now this is why he broke up with her. Superpass said, why women always say it was wasted. If she wasn't wasting time with him, it would have been someone else. Super said, so whoop-de-doo. Immortal, so whoop-de. Okay, then what? So what-y? So what-y? Baby Rock said, hell no. Take the L and keep it pushing. She sounds stupid. The sense of entitlement is ridiculous. You feel like she's entitled? She ain't entitled to compensation. Because if them people on them commercials is entitled to compensation, why she not? Okay, let's play this clip, y'all. Let me
pay compensation, claiming he stole her childbearing years. After nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end. So what do you think? Does she have a point? Let us know. And
okay, so
Local for life.
we get to the bottom of it now. She done put her career on pause for this man for the last 10 years, and then this man want to kick. Now I understand why she's suing. Y'all might not understand it, but now I understand why. She put her stuff to the back burner for this man, thinking that they would have a family one day. And then 10 years later, he kicks her to the back burner, or whoever filed for the divorce. I believe it was him. So now she wants him to pay for IV treatments, I guess, to freeze her eggs. Mommy, I guess that answers the question, but I'll run it back again. Joey Cake said, I'm sure that his time with her was equally as miserable. She wasted my player years. You know what? You know what? I'm not messing with you today, Joey Cakes. Mama said Judge Mathis says you can't sue for failed relationships. No pain and suffering. Well, the lady did say that it won't hold up in court, but it's just funny. F.A., come on to the party. You gonna love this one today. You gonna love this one, F.A. Said independent as the song goes. LOL, whatever, Immortal. Super Pat said she was the side piece. That's the twist. Listen, I don't know what the behind story is. What up, FA? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the ship.
Yo.
I was trying to download that video we did yesterday. It would not download, so I have no idea. I feel like Big Brother has got, and I'll explain the Big Brother thing later, because I was explaining yesterday about why I was absent, and then my phone mysteriously shut off. But we'll get to that. Let's get back to the topic. All right. And if you're a veteran, happy Veterans Day to you. Salute to all my vets, and thank you for your service. All right. So a woman, FA, is now suing her ex after he called it quits after 10 years, saying he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility treatments. Let me play you the clip so you can get a full, what we're talking about.
Boyfriend paid compensation, claiming he stole her childbearing years. After nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when relationships end. So what do you think? Does she have a point? Let us know. And down.
So it was egg treatment and IVF is what she wants him to pay for. And then hold on, FA. Super Pat said she was a side piece. That was the twist. For 10 damn years? I hope she was not. And Mama said she obviously in her 30s. Girl, you still got time for a baby. And Joey Cake said he better show up in court or she'll get a default judgment and have to pay. Oh, wow. All right, FA, what are your thoughts?
I mean, other than it being just utterly ridiculous, but let's just entertain it. I rather look at the deeper issue, and to me, it points back to how women grow up without a sense of accountability, because an accountable person would first, you highlighted it, but an accountable person would first think and say, wow, it was my fault that I got stayed in a relationship for 10 years that did not end in marriage and it did not end with having children because those are the things that I desired.
Right.
So it it shows the lack of accountability. It shows how the first thought is to not be accountable, but it's to blame someone else. This is why we say, this is why they often say women are not accountable because their first thought process is to blame someone else and to not look at their own actions. And unless she was being held by gunpoint for 10 years, obviously we know that wasn't the case. How could she blame anyone but herself? What if that man didn't have the desires to have children? What if that man didn't desire to have the desires to be married? That would be your fault and your fault only. So it just, to me, points more to how the mindset is to always to never be accountable and always to defer, to blame, to point. It's someone else's fault. I'm the victim here. I am the damsel in distress. I had no idea. I am not an adult. I do not have the ability to think properly or maturely. I was confused. I couldn't believe it. I was endowed with so much emotion. I wasn't able to notice that 10 years had passed and the things that I wanted was not being done.
I get you. But she said she put her career and everything on pause because she thought eventually they were going to start a family. So that
You
don't
know,
that
my mama used to say to me,
what?
it's funny. Thinking is not knowing. You say she thought that thinking ain't knowing. So that's unfortunate for you, baby.
Mm.
See what thinking got you.
Yeah, baby Barack said clearly he didn't want kids from her. If he didn't knock her up in the first 5 years, then he never planned on it. Immortal said, what if he couldn't have kids? And Mama said, for once, I agree with FA. LOL. Oh my God, FA.
It
It,
take time. It take time, but it'll start to happen. You'll see. It'll start to happen.
wait a minute.
But hold on, mama. Maybe was my delivery a little better or something? Was it more what do you
I know
mean?
this is going down in the history books
Pal-
because
was it more palatable? Is that what it was? Was it more palatable for you to be?
I'm laughing because Mom never agrees with FA. And today the world is ending because she agrees with something he said. Oh my goodness. Joey Cake said feelings aren't facts. And Mama said the eggplant was extremely good. LOL. She was digmatized. She was something because
She
I
was
do.
a fool. That's what
F-
she was.
what up, Clean Clean? I do agree with you, FA. Staying in something for 10 years, okay, and me after year 5, I would have been like, okay, now what we doing after year 5?
So how about this? I would teach my daughter after year two.
After year 2, okay.
No, after year two is when you need to have a what I would call like a midterm evaluation when you start within yourself and you say, all right, these are the things I want. These are the things, and then you go present to him. Hey, listen, we've been in for 2 years. How you feeling? What's your thoughts? In my mind, I'm kind of wanting this. I'm kind of wanting that. Are you aligning? Do you feel the same way? If you do, what are you doing that can give me some level of reassurance that we're moving in that direction? Like, there's nothing wrong with having these conversations, and there's nothing wrong with coming to men and asking men to expound on the plans that they may have for them. With that, you ain't got to say when you're gonna marry me, but you can say, "Hey, listen, I'm not interested in having long-term relationships. I'm dating to be married. Is that something that you're trying to do as well? And if you are, do you have a range? 1 more year, 2 more years, 3 more years? I'm not asking you to give me an exact time. I just kind of would ask you to honestly tell me if this is something that you are dating to do. You know what I mean? And if you are, why haven't it happened? Is it something holding it back? What like, it's nothing wrong with going down because most guys would probably say, "Well, I'm just not in a financial situation where I want to be at." If a man loves you, his number one response may be, "I don't have the money that I'm still working on getting some of the
Right.
things."
That's what I said earlier. That he probably was like, okay, let's wait to have the kids, let's wait to get married, let's wait to settle down or whatever until I get to a certain level. I guess once she felt like he got to that level after 10 years, she's like, okay, I'm ready for these kids and family. And he like, whoa, 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 whoa.
See, but
Right.
this is why you don't allow a woman to think for herself because she waited to 10 years to figure that out. That's why I'm saying 2 years. She should have been dating in year two. She should have been like, okay, let's get back to the table and let's rediscuss how we're looking and what direction that we're moving in. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with having those conversations.
And then I'm gonna ask you a question, but let me read these comments. Mama said, "LOL, I'm in a good mood today." Fa. Joey Cake said, "Mama," and Mama said, "OMG, will the real Fa please stand up?" And Joey Cake said, "If this is the case, I'm suing all my exes for fraud." Well, Joey,
Facts.
explain that one then. Fraud how? And then Super Pat said, "Longer you're with someone, the more their blemishes show. He wasn't in love with her anymore." What a Katie, why do you think, Fa, that the women stay in these long duration relationships? Like 10 years is crazy.
Hope, 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 hope. Listen. I'm not gonna be too critical of them. I'm gonna leave the room for women can have hope, but they also can be delusional. But they can have like hope. They can say, "Man, listen, I see that this man ain't really where he want to be at, and I just kind of hoping." The problem is they shouldn't have hope. Hope shouldn't be a very long time. That's all I'm saying. Like you can hope for maybe a year or two, but without any like you can say, all right, well, I've been dating for 2 or 3 years. I'm hoping that he was going to propose by now and so on and so forth. But 10 years is when it's no longer like I can't have any empathy for you. I got to look at you and just hold you accountable at that point. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, I can be like, all right, I understand. You may have been trying to give him some time. You may have didn't feel like you wanted to rush him or pressure him or whatever. Like I get that. You know what I mean? That's reasonable. But this is why so that's the reason why I can see why a woman will wait 10 years. She's either complicit, you know what I mean? She either didn't want it as badly as she at least says she did. Or I don't know what she's saying, but she couldn't have wanted it. She could not have been dating for marriage and 10 years later they didn't get married. How about that? So maybe the first 5 years she was just having fun. You know what I'm saying? She probably wasn't even taking it serious, or at least thinking forward minded in that way. And she probably got serious around 6 years, 7 and 8. Who knows? You know what I mean? But this is why it's dangerous to not be to have to be an adult, to be dating as an adult, and not have some levels of intention when you're dating. If you're just playing around, then you can't have expectations out of that. You just enjoy the ride while you're on it.
No, I know I've heard stories of women who've been in 10, 15, 20 plus year relationships, no marriage, no nothing. I think I just saw on social media a woman who was dating a guy. He passed away. She was just dating, so which means, guess what? She don't pass go. She don't collect $200. She's left with nothing, and
You
his
know,
family got everything.
and you know what without knowing that person, you know what that tells me? She couldn't have had a father in her life. Because you can't have an active, loving, intelligent father that would be okay with his daughter dating a man for 10 years without marriage. Like the man would have been would have the father would have been in both of their ears. The daughter's ears, and I would be in the man's ears because I'd be like, okay, what's your intentions with my daughter? You know what
Mm.
I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And then I would tell my daughter, hey, listen, you're not going to be in this relationship longer than 3 years if it's not progressing in the direction that it needs to be in. You see what
That's
I'm saying?
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that children, even young adults, need to be told what to do sometimes. That's it. And if you respect your parent, you'll do it. Now, I'm not that always gonna be easy, but you'll
I
do
was Hey, yeah, that there might be a challenge because what if she's so in love and she's like, "Dad, I'm not listening."
it. But this is the reason I agree. It wouldn't work if you didn't raise your child up to be a certain kind of way from day one. So like, yeah, you can't be one way their whole life and then try to hit them with the, and you need to do this, and if you don't,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. No,
Yeah. Hold on. Mama said most men set 5-year goals, but I agree 2 years is enough time for him to know. Super Pat said he should pay her something as a friend to help her out. See, Super Pat. Super Pat. Immortal said some women love in which a man can provide for them. Some women love what a man can provide for them, meaning what he can do for her. I got
yeah,
you. Clean said, I think what y'all don't consider is a lot of times it's the woman that doesn't want to marry the man due to her having doubts about him or reserving herself in case she finds someone better.
I agree.
This can be the case, especially if she is coming out of a previous relationship or long term relationship.
I think I hinted to that when I said the girl, the first 5 years, she may not have been dating for marriage.
You
You know what
did
I mean?
said
She
that.
could have been keeping her options open. You know what I mean? Because one thing about a woman, and I'm not saying this necessarily in a bad way, but they are conditioned to pick the best option for them. And I don't think that's a problem, but I also think as a man, you run the risk. If you're dating women for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and dating is expensive for men. So while you are paying for her throughout this 5, 6, 7 year relationship, you are running the risk of not getting a return on your investment if you don't marry her. Now you may not care, you know what I mean, because you might have the money and you may not be tripping. But for the men who are investing in a woman, just know this: if you're dating and you don't make the final commitment, then you are running the risk of your investment leaving and possibly getting a different option.
Yeah, but her too. 10 years. Who's to say
That's
this
ridiculous.
won't marry somebody else within the next year or 2 years?
And they probably will.
That's good.
And
That's. I want to play this clip back though. For the new folks that got on here. We are talking about a woman is suing her ex after 10 years of them being together, saying he stole her childbearing years and wants him to pay for her fertility. The question today is, does she have a right to sue him? Superpad said he could have gave her a dearly
Pay
departed gift.
compensation, claiming he stole her childbearing years. After nearly a decade together, she says her 38-year-old ex ended things just as she was ready to start a family. She said she put her career and her goals on hold, believing they'd have kids, and now wants him to cover fertility treatments like egg freezing or IVF. Now, the story from the New York Post has gone viral, sparking a debate. Some call it justified. Others say it's absurd to blame an ex. Legal experts say her case wouldn't hold up in court, but it is raising some questions about love, timing, and who really pays the price when.
And that's crazy. That's crazy. So some people believe he should pay.
some
Um,
women believe that.
I bet some men that believe it too. Superpad said he should have gave her, helped her out.
I
Clean.
think
Some women will take the provision and benefits from a man while simultaneously seeing if she can do better. It's called monkey branching. I ain't never heard of that, but okay, clean.
yeah.
That's why yesterday for my final thoughts, I said, fellas, get your money's worth because if she leaves you, you don't get any of that money back. Some women waste a man's prime hairline years. Do you have the right to sue? Listen, if that's how you feel, go on, do your thing. Sue. If that's how you
I
feel, there's
I
no
actually
do.
I got an issue, man. I just, as a man, so now I'm holding men to a different standard. I don't
Yeah.
believe a woman can waste your time. That's impo- that she doesn't have control over your time to waste it. So
Ooh,
I
break
can't.
it down.
I'm just saying, I hold y'all think I'm critical of women. It's just that we don't have topics about men. That's why. But if we had topics about men, and like how he just said, well, if a woman's he wasted his, he's being funny. But
Yeah.
but the point is, a woman can't waste a man's time because a man gives a woman his time. That's
Yeah.
how it works. And you can leave whenever you want. You can be done with her whenever you want. So that's why I said, oh no, I don't, I'm not going to give you the men. I don't give men the pass of, their feelings and, oh man, he really liked her and all that type of shit. Because we control, if men control where the relationship goes, we decide if you get married or not. You see what I'm saying? So how can she waste your time? Because you could propose and she could say no, and y'all could just be done, and
Yeah.
you can move on to the next. So no, women can't waste men's time in that regard. No.
I didn't think about it that way. And also, too, for real, suing, because again, men are not going to do stuff like that. Women, yes, we gonna do stuff because that's what we, yeah. But I don't see a man going to going to a courthouse and saying, hey, or getting a lawyer and say, hey, I need to file a lawsuit against my ex because she wasted my hairline.
Come on.
I,
Exactly.
I just don't see that happening. And it seems like clean, clean, 1985. And this is a question too for you, Fa, because for me, time is the most valuable thing because you can't get time back.
Not at
Um,
all.
money is replaceable because you can get.
Sure. Facts.
Okay, I just want because I know people put different emphasis and values on things. To me, time is the most valuable thing. Like you waste my time, like I'm big mad. And work regard, it doesn't matter. Professional, it doesn't matter. So mama said, I know a woman who was in a 12-year relationship, not young, and she was okay saying she didn't need a ring. I told her, if that man dies, you get nothing. No social security, no life insurance, no pension. No, that's what happened to the lady on social media. She got on social media crying because she wasn't entitled to anything and she didn't feel like it was fair. Girl.
That's that's what happens when you get away from what was set. It was already understood a man leaves the house and get married to a woman. These things, if you would have just followed these instructions, they would already have insurances that was already inside of it. So you would have had the pension, you would have had the retirement, you would have had these levels of security. But when you want to do things your own way, you want to say, no, I don't want to get married. I want to do my own thing. Okay, well, deal with the decision. That's what happens.
Yeah, and especially if there's not like a will in place, it's over.
Come
You,
on,
you're not getting
silly.
none of that. Mama said she finally understood and they got married a year later. Glad she understood
Oh,
the timing. Big Aunt said, what up, Big Aunt? That's why if everyone focuses on God, he will bring you what you deserve and need or want. I say that again. Joey Cake said, what about all of the semen that he wasted over 10 years? You know what?
no nut insurance. That is hilarious.
You, you know what, Joey? You cutting up today. Joey Case Clean Clean said facts. LOL. You cutting up today. And Clean Clean said these relationships with women are so transactional now. It's crazy. I need to be able to claim you on my taxes. God damn it. LO, laughing my butt off. Y'all expensive as F.
I agree with you, brother. I've actually made a comment a while years ago, and I said, I was asking women, what is the cost of love? And I said, man, because modern day women's love is just too expensive. It's just too expensive. I'm just letting you know. That's why I say most women you run into, they're not wives, unfortunately, because they do not have the mindset. They have a what can you do for me? I want to live this lifestyle. I want you to buy me the nicest this. I want 5 international vacations a year. I don't want a car. I gotta have 5 rings. It gotta be an Audi. I don't want a house. It gotta be a mini mansion. I don't want nice clothes. I don't want shoes. It gotta have red at the bottom of it. You see what I'm saying? For it to be to my liking. So I understand why men come to the conclusion that it's so transactional because especially when women say, remember they say that whole 50-50 thing, and they'll be like, well, if I'm gonna go 50-50 with a man, I might as well have a roommate. And that's why I said it speaks to her saying, I don't value you anything more than what you can do for me. Because if I would have to contribute as much as you, then you are mean nothing more to me than a friend. And it really just shows you like how she don't view a man as more valuable than just what he can buy her. like, companionship, love, and all those type of things. That's why I say listen to them. Listen to them when they talk. They'll tell you what they think of you, and they
But
telling you they don't think much of you if you can't give them the things that they want.
but is that all women's fault? Because it does say it
All women's fault.
and providers. No, no, no. I'm just
No,
asking.
no, you're right. Well, providing so that see, this is the problem when they parse out parts of the Bible and then try to twist it into their own narrative. So providing wasn't he wasn't talking about finances and finances only. Right, providing was also provision, and provision was you falling under him, and that means he made the decisions and he directed the boat. It wasn't about all the frivolous things you want. Providing is giving you shoes, not giving
Well,
you
yeah,
shoes with red at the bottom of it. So you see the difference.
yeah.
That's providing is giving you a house, not giving you a mansion. See what I'm saying? That's the difference, and that's the part where our women have become so materialistic that they twist it that providing actually has to be the best. It don't have to be just something. Now it has to be the best of whatever that is. If you give them a car, it has to be a Range Rover. Because if you can't provide a Range Rover, then you are worthless. That's essentially what they're saying.
I understand what you're saying. I got what you're saying. Baby Brock said, I don't know. God has a sense of humor based on what he sent my way. Joey Cake said, and then they cheat with men that will give them nothing.
Yep.
Um, and Mama said, wait, clean said her went out the country. He went out the country for a woman's. Tell me she was she expensive? Clean, that's for you if you're still on here. Oh, he answered and he said, I went out of the country for a woman. Is that what you're saying? Clean. I think that's, did you not say that in one of the chat? Not out the country for a woman. I'll let you explain the chat because I
I'm
don't.
not mad at men if you talking about passport bros. I'm not mad at men finding love abroad. I don't have a problem with men going to Colombia or going to some of these black and color skin countries that still raise their women to be wives and to be what they call intro independent, not independent. No, I don't want an independent woman. I want an intro independent woman where they have the ability to have independent things about them, but they still want to be a part of the conglomerate, right? They don't want to be separate.
We might have to do a whole thing, a chat on passport bros.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be a good conversation. Clean said, "What my woman is from out of the country. Is that what you're referring to?" I think that is what she's referring to.
They're a
Clean.
lot more grateful. I can tell you that much, and they're a lot less expensive. See, the women across the water, and we ain't got to dive into too much, but they are happy with new shoes. They don't need red at the bottom. See, that's the difference. And guess what? They tend to look a lot better and be in better shape, and actually know how to cook. You know what I mean?
He said they don't want red. I'm not. I think I'm not messing with you today. Baby Brock said, "Facts, fa. Zero love without finances. Being broke guarantees you that you'll be single if you want a black woman."
That's
Damn,
a fact.
sisters.
That's a fact. I mean, it is, and I'm just, I said modern day women because it's not just black sisters, but I know that we're all black and we're often talking about our experience. You know what I mean? So it's not a target at black women. It's just that's our audience because most of us date black women.
Okay, so Mama's trying to make a point here, Fa. She's saying, yeah, that's what I said. He said she wasn't materialistic like American women. Now, 1985, Clean is saying that women are expensive. And he's saying she's from out of the country, but I met her here, fresh off the
Fresh off the boat.
out live today.
But look, he didn't have to buy her green card. That's all good.
Can I just say this? And I don't know if this is true, but I heard the women be over there having sex for fish sandwiches. That
No, no, that's not true at all. That's not true at
especially
all.
oh,
Not fish sandwiches. Now we got to compare because the economy over there is not equal to here. So $200, $300 goes a lot further in other countries than it does in America. You can go to other countries where these people, their rent for the month is $200. So
Yeah, but
yeah, the way that they
it's okay
see
for them.
200, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay for them to be spreading their legs and doing what they
No, no,
need.
no. Nobody really wants a prostitute. But what I'm saying is, when men will be with women under certain circumstances because if they're in conditions where they, they feel like this is the only way they can make money for their family, you know what I mean? Or it's a legitimate way to make. It's just like niggas that get with strippers. You remember back in the day, the stripper culture is just so popular now. It's like a job for people. But remember, like in the 80s and the 90s, people used to actually hide that they were strippers, and it was like a shameful thing. And the girl would like be like, the story would be like, oh, she's going to college and she's only stripping to pay for college for a better life. That is how it will be a man that will be with that stripper because that stripper is not a proud stripper. She's not proud to be a stripper. She's kind of just doing it to to better her circumstances. I would liken that to how some of these women are in these other countries where they don't want to be prostituting, but a lot of times they do it because it's a extremely lucrative way to make money in their country.
I'm sorry, I
So
think you probably had cut out because I had got a phone call, but we're back now. Um, Mama said until they get over here and leave your ass for a man from her country, and Clean Clean said, "I'm not talking about y'all, not my girl."
yeah, that don't happen often, believe it or not, brother. Believe it or not, those women don't leave men. Now, I'm not saying some don't, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The majority of these men that marry these women and bring them back here, those women don't leave these men. That
Yeah,
don't happen. I'm
you,
being
yeah, but
less
you
than
can do that
10%.
now under this new administration. You going to go get what from where and bring them where?
Oh no, it's a lot more difficult to bring a woman over here now.
Yeah,
Nowadays, he done made it a lot harder for sure.
that's over. Jesus.
You know
Um,
what's so funny, Mama? This is what I want you to know. Women overseas that men are yearning for, that was how black women were in the 60s. They were taught to cook and clean and treat their man good. This was normal for all women. Like that's why I just want y'all to know. Don't look at these women across the waters as different than black women. They're just what black women used to be. Y'all just not that no more. But the black women used to be that. We missed that woman. My grandmother definitely was. My grandmother definitely was.
my grandma was my
My
mama.
mother had a cookbook that was written in a pencil. You see what I'm saying? It was like handwritten cookbook. I remember a cookbook being in my mother's house and her opening it up and going through recipes and stuff like. And I'm not saying we can't evolve to having a phone and stuff. But what I'm saying is the art of teaching a woman how to cultivate and take care a home was a normal thing for all women to pass down to their daughters. They just don't do that anymore. That's all.
Mama said men will go out the country and take care of a grown ass woman, but complain about American women.
Yes, we will, and yes, we will, and I would gladly take. I take care of my American women here. It's not about complaining about. It's that these American women ain't grateful. All men would love to take care of their woman. What are you talking
Why
about?
do you feel like that? Why do you feel like? Why do you say that? What do you mean by we're not grateful?
They're not. They're not grateful because I'm I'm in a financial situation where I can buy my now wife expensive gifts, but I got a wife that but I only buy her expensive gifts because I know that she would value an inexpensive gift.
Okay, okay.
See, if I met a woman that says I like the finer things in life, I like to go to 5-star restaurants and da 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 da. That's an automatic turn on for me because I'm not taking you to a 5-star restaurant just because I can afford it. I don't like the mentality that that's what she demands. That I want the woman that's okay with going to TGI Fridays with me. You see what I'm saying? Now, when I take her to Ruth Chris, then we just go to Ruth Chris. But I want the woman that want to go to Fridays with me. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference.
And Baby Brock said, "Mama, it's because the women overseas hold the values Black women used to have
There
for
we
us."
go. That's
Which,
right. That's right, brother.
which Fa just pointed out. Listen, I don't know the differences between, you know.
Man, I'm telling you, men, if you ever, I tell this to all the men, you need to go over there. If you go over there, it will change your whole perspective. Us black men have never experienced the femininity that we actually deserve, or at least some of us deserve, until you go over there and you see how nice, soft, catering, loving these women are. Now, I'm not saying they don't have another set of issues. I'm not saying that either. I'm only speaking about the femininity and the atmosphere that they create. Like you just they bring it back to like when men just like being around women. You know how they say now, like, oh, men just don't like women, right? They
Yeah.
don't like actually like women. I I,
Yep.
I know why they say that, and I would agree because I don't like a lot of y'all either. But
Oh,
what I
say it then.
yeah, but what I'm saying is the women back in the day, the atmosphere that they used to be able to create, man, you just want to be around them. And I'm telling you, they recreate that overseas. I'm letting y'all know that feeling does exist still.
So let me ask you a question though, because I feel like you didn't answer my question completely. Is it okay for
Okay.
them to have bodies on them?
No,
That's
I don't think it's okay, but what I will say is circumstances will create different tolerances, right? So I would say this. You being a hoe because you want to be a hoe, and then you being a hoe
okay.
because you
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I want you to finish. Go ahead.
I
Go
said
ahead.
you being a hoe because you want to be sexually liberated and you want to go out and explore all these different penises is very different from a woman who like is kind of conditioned as a young beautiful woman to provide for her family, so she has to go into sex work. Well, I don't say have to, but she chooses to go into sex work because it's the most lucrative business and where she lives, but she doesn't desire to go into sex work. You want me to tell you a little secret about these women across the waters?
Go ahead.
Most of them deal with severe depression, and most of them are suicidal. Most of them are very suicidal because they naturally do not want to sleep with all these men, and it actually takes a toll on them over the years because it messes with their mind. So these women, it's a difference between being a hoe yeah, out of some almost necessity, and then being a hoe because you just choose to be a hoe. It's two different things.
But they're okay. They're giving grace, but black women aren't giving.
No, black women are given grace because they don't condemn it. Those women will condemn it. Those women will say, "No, I don't want to be a hoe. No, I don't want to sleep with all these men. I just, I chose to. I decided to because to provide for my family. But I actually don't want to do this, and I think it's shameful. And I'm not going to teach our children to do what I did." Black women don't have that mentality. They say, "No, sleep with as many people as you can. Be sexually liberated. You need to explore your options. You need to do this. You need to do that." You see how it's a different mentality? They have a different outlook on it. So
Okay,
yeah, I'm
so
gonna condemn you.
but you're gonna give them grace.
Yeah, 100%.
What up, Tesla? All right. We were talking about a woman suing her ex after 10 years for wasting her childbearing years, and we got into the passport boys and the women that are over in these other countries. Uh, Sorry, keep up with me. Discussions with Didi Park. Clean said American women have been exposed to more materialistic lifestyle, so they are more expensive. My ex was Brazilian and was happy, just spent time with me. My current girl in the knees the same way. Mama said black men are not how they used to be either.
Yeah, I agree.
Baby Barack said 1985, Brazilian, you say. She got any sisters or aunties? Said, you're right, Mama. We are actually better and richer.
Yeah, in
Uh,
some ways I agree.
Clean said to you, Baby Brock, she had a sister, but she's married. All of them are married, which shows that they was marriage minded.
Sure.
And Mom said, are those women really sincere or are they acting to get exactly what they want? And Baby Barack said to you, 1985, clean, clean facts. I've been on the hunt for one for a while. And that's what we're talking about. What up, OC baby? And Mama said a hoe is a hoe. That's crazy.
No, it's
Um,
not. That's
and
not
Clean
true.
said, yes, they are. They haven't been exposed to the social media trends, movie culture that American women have. They are genuinely lovers, and help
Helpmate.
in most cases. And
Agreed.
my white ex friend has 8 kids by 7 different. My ex, my white ex friend has 8 kids by 7 men. I don't think being a hoe is defined by color.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, I 100% agree with you. I wasn't making being a hoe exclusive to black women at all. So if I came off that way, let me apologize now because that's not what I said or I meant. Because no, hoe is universal. You know what I mean? Well, hoe is really it's
So
universal.
before you get into it, I want you to go back into your definition of the breakdown because we do got some new folks on here who might not have heard what you said. So you were basically breaking down because I was like, well, how come black women don't get grace for being a hoe, but they get grace? Women from other countries get grace for being a hoe, and you were basically breaking it down. So get into that and then get into what you were saying. I'm sorry.
So the quick version of that is
Yeah.
American women or Western women, and you specified the black ones,
Yes.
they choose to be a hoe. They actually say it's liberating. They're taught to go out and sleep with as many men as they can so they can learn what they like and learn their body. And so they choose to be a hoe. It's very different from these women across the water who still have morals, ethics, and values that tell them not to sleep with a bunch of people. But some of them do because of maybe their financial situation, right? They choose to go on the lifestyle of prostitution because it's a very lucrative business in the country they live in, and they may not have other opportunities to make the money that they can make. And but those women often do not want to do the work that they're doing. And they will not ever say, it's okay that I sleep with all of these men. They'll say, no, I don't want to do this work. And I would love to stop doing this work if I ever could get a man that, that could provide for me and so on and so forth. So it's a difference between when American women or black American women choose to do this and call it liberating, opposed to when these other women do not want to do. They may choose to get into that profession, but they don't want to sleep with people just to sleep with people. They're doing it for some money, and given the opportunity, they will stop immediately, right? Now, and this is the biggest difference. And they also won't teach their daughters to do this. See, black women and American women teach their daughters, hey, no, go out there, sleep with different men. Learn yourself, figure out what you like, go out there and sleep with as many men as you want. Y'all will teach that to your daughter.
Wow. All right, FA, because we got comments. Clean Clean said FA is right. Before feminism and liberalism, black women were like this when they were conservative, and you have an M, and religious. FA, you still there?
Absolutely.
Baby Brock said, Mama, we got to be that way in order to level up to our own women. Y'all set that tone. And Tara said, I've never known a woman with that mentality. As a house mom of 3 different strip clubs, most of them are there because of what they've been through in their life. Um,
Wasn't talking about strippers, baby, but go ahead.
and Mama said, sounds like you're making excuses for those women. I mean, I,
Excuses?
I never heard of this before because I thought a hoe was a hoe. If you a hoe, you just,
No, no. So let me give you an analogy. Let me
I
give you
didn't
an
know
analogy.
hoism.
All right, but let me give you an analogy. Let me give you an analogy because the girl is still a hoe. She's a prostitute, but it's a difference. But let me give you an analogy. And black people, we were slaves in this country at one point. We snuck and married even in slavery, right? That's where we got the whole jump the broom thing, right? Do you know that the white slave master would sleep with the black slave women's, even the ones that were married?
Yes.
What does that make her a hoe? Hold on. So when that white slave master slept with that black woman, and that when that white slave master had different guests, all different men that may come to his plantation, and will offer these women to all these different men, does that make that woman a hoe? Because she was forced to have sex with all those different men?
I get what you're saying, but they didn't have a choice because
Okay,
that,
exactly.
that could be. I could say the same thing like with women who are sold into sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying?
So it's levels to being a hoe, right? I mean, we wouldn't call those people hoes. We would call them
No,
victims
because they were forced into doing something. But
that they didn't have no choice into doing, right? Now, guess what? Sometimes when you're in poverty and when you're on certain low levels of poverty, you will almost feel forced to do things. See, there have black people been poor for a very long time. And let me give you a little secret, even about women back in the day. Women back in the day even did exchange sexual favors for money. I'm telling you that this is not a new thing. That man used to drop that woman that didn't have that money to pay that rent used to drop that pussy off to that landlord sometimes. Like that's this is not a now. Are you
you're
telling me
right.
that
It's
right? That's not something
not
that
that
she
true.
wanted to do. But that's not something she wanted to do. It's sometimes when you're in these really, harsh conditions and living in poverty, you'll do things that are not moral, right? And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying I'm not going to say that woman who did that is equal to the woman who wants to go out and sleep with a bunch of different men. That's not the same thing.
Oh, FA, this gonna have to be a whole nother chat. This is good here. Tara said she was a part-time mom, and she said I do not believe it's defined by location either. And Mama said she is out the country. She is an out of the country hoe, which makes her a respectful hoe. LOL.
No, y'all missing the point. Y'all got a hoe. A hoe is really. Let me tell you what a hoe is. A hoe is really a woman that chooses to sleep with a bunch of different men. That's really what a hoe is. Now, a prostitute is a woman who sleeps with men for money. That's not really what a hoe is. A hoe don't really sleep with men for money, for direct exchange for money. Right now, they may have want money in other ways, but it's not directly exchanged. They don't say, "Hey, listen, to have sex with me, you got to give me $500." That's not what a hoe is. That's a prostitute. So these women are prostitutes that are across the world. They're not hoes. A hoe is really a mentality. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A hoe is a woman that sleeps with a bunch of men because she chooses to. And that's what she wants to do. She's a promiscuous woman. A prostitute is not what I would call a promiscuous woman because a promiscuous woman really, really like points to your character. Like it kind of points to what you want to do. Some people doing this shit because they just working and that's the only thing they know or they feel that they can do. You know what I mean?
The same grace that you give to them, you gotta give to some of my fellow sisters
No,
and
I
men,
would give them.
because they're all not out here just fucking and excuse me
But
sucking
guess what?
because they want to. Some of them gotta pay too. Some
But
of them gotta
DD,
get
but
little
DD,
on.
okay, DD. Let me clarify this because I said it in the past, but it may
Okay.
not be connecting. I 100% would give Black American women grace if they came humbled. If they said stuff like, "Hey, you know what? I've done things in the past I'm not proud of." You know what I mean? I may not have grown up with a father that taught me to value myself and who I shouldn't just give myself to all these different men and like if they come back humbled, then yes, those women we would show grace to. But that's not the women we. A humble woman would not say body count don't matter. See, that's not a humble
And
woman.
I'm getting ready to go there with you because
Uh,
what these women out the country, if they sleeping with men because they got to hold down the family, I'm sure they probably got a high body count. But
Absolutely. But they wouldn't say body count don't matter. I'm not saying you can't have a high body count and not be given grace, right? There are a lot of Christian women that went to the church and found the Lord and changed their life, and they used to be former hoes, right? And now they become renewed and respectable women, but their mentality has changed. They also do not condone their past actions. See, our black women condone them. They said, yes, go sleep with as many men as you want. Isn't that condoning the action?
condoning what past actions of not.
No, the women, when they tell other women to go sleep with as many men as you can, aren't they saying there's nothing wrong with that?
I don't think you mean no. You mean encouraging it. That's
No,
what
all right. When I'm saying when being asked, when I notice when they're asked, when women
you're
are
saying.
asked by
Not put
other women.
They're not saying you shouldn't be doing that. That's what
No,
she's saying.
they'll say you need to explore yourself. You need to learn your body. You need to go and figure out the things
But
you
that's
like.
condoning it would be saying don't you shouldn't be doing this. You mean
Oh,
yeah, you're mean they're
oh no, no, I don't condone. Right, right, right. I'm
yeah,
sorry. You're
you're
right, right. I used the wrong word. Absolutely.
that behavior.
Right. They encourage it. So that's the difference. Our women encourage being to be a hoe. And these women are prostitutes. I'm not arguing that, but that's not something they want to do. How about this? How about this? How about this? If these women overseas were afforded the same life that American black women have here, they would not be going out sleep with a bunch of different men. I can guarantee you that. I can 100% guarantee you that. They would not be. Now, I'm saying there'll always be some promiscuous women, but what I'm saying is the culture that they come from does not teach them to go out there and be promiscuous. They come from a culture and a family structure that teaches them to value themselves and not to give themselves to a bunch of different men, which is very opposite of American women. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna comments and then I want to ask you a question. So Mama said, so as long as you don't want it to do it, it's okay. Tex said
Yes.
a whole lot of hoes ain't getting no money, just having fun. What up? There's a
100%.
clean said, man, you got to look at the stats. There had major shift in marriage rates in our community. I did read that. Only
Say that again. Say that last comment again.
there had been a major shift in marital rates in our community. He's not lying. I
100%.
that today.
It went from 80% to 24%. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's only it only came after feminism and sexual liberation.
That's
It
right.
can't be all men's fault, lol. But accountability is the devil. You don't get grace for a high body count, but you're gonna make Mr. Right pay double price for what you spend 2 decades giving out for free. House sweat. And Mama said, "What woman say that?" And Babe said, "You want something? I want something from the store? Doritos. I love Doritos. Anything? Yes, Doritos. There. So my question to you, if I can damn remember my question, I'm old. Mine is telling me I'm getting old. So my question to you is, if women, black women, all women, came to you and humbled you, saying that now, if and they said, okay, my body count is high because X, Y, and Z. I had no choice because I had to survive. Would you still like them though? Would you still marry them if they came to you and kept it one?
Me, me, probably not. But it's not about it. It wasn't. This wasn't limited to just me. I
No,
was kind of speaking for men, and I would say that there would be a lot more men that
okay.
would be willing to be with these women that even if they had, a promiscuous past, if they felt confident that that's not something. So the body count is a lot of different reasons why men don't like it. But to hone in on some of the reasons why they don't like it, because your past predicts future behavior. So, because you slept with a lot of people in the past, men will naturally believe that you will do that in the future. Or they will also believe that they may not be able to satisfy you, and which, in a way, some of the men in your past have. So it's a deterrent. We don't want to deal with that because, one, a man should not have to be a porn star to be able to please his woman. Like, he should not have to be a sexual expert. And when you women sleep with all these different people, you become harder to please. And that is something that it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way. Average men should be able to satisfy average women. It should be, that's how it should be. But when you, so not to go down that rabbit hole, but so the reason why men don't want to be with women with high body count is because they believe it's usually an indicator on how they would act in the future. And whether women realize it or not, unhealed women may not acknowledge this, but when you sleep with a lot of women, it messes with women's psyche, and
Yeah.
it does, and it messes with your ability to pair bond with a man. It's no different from a man who's addicted to masturbation. If he's addicted to masturbation, it's going to affect his ability to pair with his wife or his woman when he has sex with that woman. It won't be the same. It has the same effect That's what I'm saying. So your decisions carry over to future consequences. And when you're and at least the man that says, yeah, I masturbate too much and I need to stop and I'm working on it and it's something I'm shameful of. I want to stop. That's something I could work with. But if you're saying, no, I masturbate all the time and I ain't going to never stop and I don't care that I can't, that our sex is being affected by this, why would somebody say, oh, okay. No, they're going to say, no, I don't want to deal with that. And we say that with women. No, I don't want to deal with a woman that think it's okay for her to sleep with 100 different dudes or 50 different dudes.
But
We don't want that woman.
the question was, if she has been through something, she had to do what she had to do to feed her family. You remember and Set It Off, Jada Pinkett had to sleep with her
Yeah,
boy.
for sure.
So she had to do what she needed to do to feed her family. And that's the reason why her body count is high. Is she gonna be given grace?
If she comes humble, if Jada Pickett came to me and we were dating, and I asked her about her past, and she says, "Hey, listen, um, I am not particularly proud of some of the things I've done in my past, sexually. Um, I did not, I did not have a sense. I didn't value myself in the way that I should. Um, I am not proud of some of the actions. It was some things I didn't know. I actually didn't know. And some things I did know and I did it and I now regret it. And these are the things that I now know I won't ever do again. Not only will I not ever do it again, I don't actually, I keep saying condone. I don't
Encourage.
no, I don't condone it. No. I don't saying it right. And I actually don't condone it. Meaning, like, I would not encourage it in the future. I would actually teach my daughter to do the exact opposite of what I did. You see what I'm saying? I'm not proud of my past actions. Those women, if you come to men like that, I guarantee you. But hold on, but that woman wouldn't turn around. That woman, if I asked that woman, hey, doesn't matter how many people a woman has slept with, she would say yes. It does matter because women, we shouldn't be giving ourselves to a bunch of different men. See, she wouldn't say no.
I got what you.
She would say yes. Whether she slept with a lot of people or not is irrelevant. She would say yes. Yes, how many people you slept with does matter. Now, I am one of them people who slept with a lot of people, and it does matter. And I am living proof that it does matter because I still deal with some of the effects of my past decisions. You see what I'm saying? So that is an accountable woman, and that woman will become a wife, but because some man will be with that woman because a man would recognize and feel confident that, oh, she did do those things in the past, but she's not going to do it anymore. And she's not going to do it anymore because she has found reasons why she shouldn't do it anymore. She's not doing it anymore just to please me as the man. She won't do it anymore because she believes it's wrong. So that woman would be given grace and that woman would become a wife, 100%.
Oh, well, Tizzle disagrees. Hold on. Mama said, what if a man is a hoe? I'll let you answer that in a second.
Oh, God.
I'm still judging her because Jada didn't have to sleep with Nate. She wanted her bro to go to college and he didn't want to. That's Jada's fault. Jada gave away free box because she didn't communicate properly. Clean said, Mama, a man that sleeps with a lot of women isn't a hoe. He's a pro. And Mama said, no, she is an American woman. She won't get grace. So we have to continue this one tomorrow. This is a good one. I did not know that there was levels to hoeing. Jesus, there's levels to
Listen,
hoeing.
it's a difference for doing things. If a man that's raped in jail is not gay. You see what I'm saying? Like it's there just because you do an act don't make you the same. It's your intention behind it.
Good one too. F.A. you getting the good ones today.
I'm just saying, if you decide to do it, when you decide to do it, it's different from when, like you said, you're forced to do it, or when you're literally physically forced to do it, or when you feel forced to do it. See, you could also feel forced and not be physically forced. I do believe that there is a space for when you hear women say stuff like, no, he didn't pin me down, but I was in fear of my life that if I didn't participate, that he
Mm.
may hurt me. See, it's a space for that. You see what I'm saying? Now, the problem is I think women probably be lying but I'm saying there are times where that is true. And the person could say, no, I didn't force her to do anything. And he would be telling the truth. But she could also be telling the truth too by saying, yeah, no, he didn't. But I felt forced. His demeanor, his energy, his all of that made me kind of feel like I didn't have a choice. You see what I'm saying? And conditions, listen, poverty is a very wicked thing. Because when you poor, it will make you do anything. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You ain't never been hungry. I can tell you this. Because people that starve, if you're starving, you will eat anything. Do you know that?
Yeah.
The lengths that humans are capable of taking when they are under extreme duress. I'm not judging them people like so when you say, oh, well, she chose to be a prostitute. Well, I don't when you living in a place where you don't even have hot running water. They don't have hot water, and you know what I mean. They don't have AC. They don't have the luxuries that a lot of us have. I'm not going to look at them and be like, "Oh, well, you didn't have to do that." Well, listen, you can take that high moral ground. I'm not going to take it. What I'm gonna say is, I understand that they are living in conditions that it can lead to them believing that they don't have a choice but to do some of these immoral things. It's no different from when black people used to commit crimes. And we would say, hey, listen, man, a lot of black people commit crimes because we living in poverty. See what I'm saying? So this extends to a lot of different areas. Don't just, don't be small-minded, black American women, and be like, oh, well, if I'm a hoe, she a hoe. No, man, circumstances matter.
I did not know this. This is gonna be a good.
Context matters. And a hoe and a prostitute is not the same thing. I want y'all to know that too. A prostitute is somebody that exchanges sexual acts for money. A hoe is somebody who sleeps with people because they desire to do so.
This is gonna be a good one tomorrow. Hoeing. Oh my goodness, I didn't know. Mama said a man who sleeps with a lot of women will not love a woman properly. All right, let's do these final thoughts. Let's get them because we've been on here for a minute, but this was a good one today. Thank you, FA. Your final.
Mama, hold on. And, let me comment on that last comment. And Mama, that's actually truth in that. I actually agree with you. It's a consequence that we pay for later in life. See, y'all pay for it sooner in life, and promiscuous men, we also pay for it in a different way, and then we usually pay for it later in life. We can dive into that another day. Go ahead.
Final thoughts for today's topic.
Yeah, I just think that it just speaks to accountability when we talking about the woman who felt like her 10 years of childbearing years was stolen from her. I think it just goes back to accountability, and I think that we women, you guys need to start dating smarter and stop dating so emotional. And you stop everything that feel good ain't good for you. So and just because it feels good don't mean it's good. So you need to start dating with intentions, but you have to develop standards. And you see what I'm saying? There's a lot. So you to date with intentions, you have to develop standards. And then if you develop standards, you will have to develop morality. And if you develop morality, then you will actually have to become moral in some ways as well. You can't be a heathen and then want a saint, right? Well, you can, but now you can. Let me take that back. It's not a high likelihood that you'll be able to get a saint if you're a heathen. That's all I'm saying. Because saints are usually not attracted to heathens. That's all I'm saying, for lack of better words.
Tara said, "Love over emotion always." Or sorry, logic over emotion always. And Mama said, "You're absolutely right, Fa. You've been on one today, friend. Been on one today. I like this. We're gonna talk about different levels of hoeing tomorrow because I need further explanation on why they giving grace, but we'll get into it again tomorrow. Tara said, if you have to love yourself, you have to love yourself not to accept the ish. You absolutely do. All right. So for closing, my final thoughts is because yesterday we were about to get into it, and hopefully Big Brother from the sky won't turn me off again. But I was out. I finally got back to work Saturday, but yes, I was out for a little bit. Um, and I'll say this: what I went through, I would not wish on my worst enemy. Okay,
Mm,
would
mm.
not my worst enemy. Um, can't share all of the details as of yet. What up, S Squad Studios? When I can share the details, I'm definitely going to need each and every one of y'all. and I'm not joking, because the revolution will be televised, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. But I will say this: if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in anything, you definitely need to get in the good book of the Bible, because I'll just tell you this: God is he's amazing. And when I can testify to y'all, I'm gonna let you know how amazing, uh what a God we serve. I'll just say this: my heart was hardened. I have been going through some things. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. I have been going through some things. Make sure we didn't get off. Felt like I was in a dark place. And I had hardened my heart to God. And I feel like I don't do anything by accident. I feel like God does everything for a reason. And just when, like, Fa, your mom said something that really touched home to me yesterday. Like, she said, you got to prepare for the bad. She ain't lying. Just when you
Yeah.
think life is all peaches and cherries and it's going good, then wham, something, it hits you and unexpectedly. So she's absolutely 100% correct. You do have to plan for the bad and hope for the good. Unfortunately, especially if you're a Black man or woman. But like,
Absolutely.
when I can divulge, we will definitely get into it. And it took me a week to get back on here because I talking about the situation. Every time I talked about it, it made me cry. And I'm at the point now that we ain't crying no more. We turned it over to God, and God gonna handle the situation. So, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. Those are my final thoughts. Final thoughts. Baby Brock said Jada was in a bind with Nate and had to cash in that ass to get by. There's not a hoe. That's not a hoe, but a concerned big sister. And Tara said, I got you, boo. All right, FA. FA.
Nah. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm it.
okay. We'll leave it at that, FA. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I'm gonna try to get this up on YouTube, but big brother, just know, okay, big watching. So I'm gonna
All
leave it.
right.
So, but I got y'all. Thank y'all. We're back at it tomorrow. Probably 1:30 tomorrow, 2ish, because I got a meeting at 2:30, so it'll be short tomorrow. So we might not do the hoeing thing tomorrow, FA, because I want to do an hour of that. So we mean to do that one on Thursday. But I'll see
Sound
y'all.
good to me.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right, babe. Bye.
All right.